This week's Stamp Stories is a little different. This time we are going to encourage our listeners to write to the USPS on the topic of new U.S. stamp designs. Our message is purely in the spirit of creativity and contains a little light humor as well. Your letter might read something like this. Dear USPS, in the last few years, it seems like the quality of the designs found on U.S. stamps are just boring. When we look around at other spectacular stamps offered by other countries, we have to ask ourselves, what happened? Take, for instance, the latest round of science fiction-based stamps issued around the world. Great Britain issued a gorgeous couple of sheets for the new Star Wars movies. Also, the Doctor Who stamps they issued in 2013 are pretty nice too. And I'm not even going to get into the amazing stamps issued by places that don't count, like Guyana and Palau.
Ooh, get some hate mail from those places.
If Guyana and Palau can get it together with their jaw-dropping designs, why can't we? Why do we get stuck with things like red pears and ferns?
Stupid fern.
And that's a rerun, too.
Oh, my God. Somebody decided it was a good idea to do that again?
Yeah. As if there weren't enough of them out there.
And that's not even... They're ugly.
Yeah.
I was just complaining about those over the weekend. I was looking at your red...
Well, we should read the rest of our letter before we get involved in our debate.
Fine.
Fine.
Just saying.
Mm-hmm. I was really hoping that we could release some awesome Star Wars stamps for the new movie. We haven't gotten any since 2007, and it seems like this is something you guys could have been all over. You did manage to get us a little sci-fi this year and some Star Trek stamps, and we have to give them credit, but really, who designed them? Stamp Show here today couldn't even give them 3 stars out of 10 because the designs were so dated and basic. Out of all the awesomeness that could have come out of those stamps, how did those boring designs get picked? It seems like so many other countries in the last 20 years have gotten a major stamp design facelift. Why does it feel like our stamps are still made in the 1960s?
In the 1960s, we had better stamps.
Yeah.
Well, at least the stamps were up with current technology.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And signed sincerely, a concerned collector.
It really came to a head for me with the Star Trek stamps. They're just basically poor design. And then, they had 4 designs. One of them was fairly okay. I speak about the one with the Enterprise and the badge. You could have just made a sheet of those and thrown the other 3 designs away. At least then you'd have like a C+ sheet.
Yeah.
Instead of like a D- sheet.
Yeah, probably would have given you 4.5 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Our stamps are moderately neato.
Yeah.
Not even.
It could have been a perfect time for Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody else in the world was issuing them, and we issued a, Yes,
Pairs.
I Do. And
yeah.
Yes, I Do 2-ounce rate or whatever that was.
Here's something funny, because I was gone for a while. And I believe in the early shows, one of the last things that we covered was the farm stand stamps.
Yeah.
And a year later, we're back, and what just came out?
Vegetable stand stamps.
Was it pears and grapes?
Pears and grapes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, pears, yeah.
I'm like, seriously, how many pear and grape stamps and farm stand stamps can we have?
We have, we're going to have the rutabaga stamp.
Don't forget the eggplant stamp.
Yeah.
Brussels sprouts.
And cabbage.
What are you trying to do? Scare the kids away?
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
We lick this stamp and it tastes like a Brussels sprout.
Oh.
That would be
That would really turn off kid collectors.
But it would at least be interesting. Have a scratch and sniff apple stamp or a scratch and sniff orange stamp or something like that. Add something to it, because right now they're just, going through the list of fruit.
Well, yeah, it's just a picture of the piece of fruit on, have like a background, something.
But they've gone through the fruit already.
Yeah, they're repeating fruit.
I mean, it's not the first pear stamp we've had.
Still, the thing that disappoints me is there's a group of people sitting around going, we need to come up with some new designs for some stamps. What's really going to get people going? I know. Fruit.
When we were talking about this, Cash and I had the discussion on the fact that I think one of the better design stamps that come out every year is the Federal Duck Stamp.
Yeah.
And they have a freaking artist competition every year.
Yeah,
and they
those look
pick the
good.
best design.
Well, I actually kind of like the Priority and Express Mail designs that they've been running with.
Those are better.
That's 2 out of 40.
Well, not only that, but like 0.25% of the population will see those high-end stamps anyway.
This really sort of started with The Simpsons, when they issued the Simpsons stamps.
Oh, yeah.
Because they said, okay, now we're going to start making stamps that people will enjoy. They'll think they're humorous or whatever, and they printed too many of them. And so they said, well, we didn't sell them all out. So obviously people aren't into pop culture, so we'll make ferns instead. You made a great topic, The Simpsons. You made lousy stamps. You did the same thing to The Simpsons that you're doing to Star Trek.
And you overprinted. Based on what your sales numbers were, you overprinted the issue anyway.
It wouldn't have been overprinted if they had put a decent, and I don't mean like a stellar stamp. I'm not looking for them to be like, let's say, the British Post Office. Heaven forbid the British Post Office would, be comparable to the U.S. Post Office. But, at least be comparable to, I don't know, Granada.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, the quality of the stamp printing is also much better in many of these other countries.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like Don brought up, the Star Wars stamp from Britain. I mean, you look at that and it just knocks your eyes out. It's
awesome.
like, this is awesome.
Well, just go on Google Images for Star Wars postage stamp. And you look at all these stamps and you go, not U.S., not U.S., not U. Come on!
None of them are.
Yeah. Well,
We got one sheet in 2007 and that's it.
Yeah, Swiss chocolate. And they had the chocolate, if you scratch it, it's scratch and sniff and you smell chocolate. And it's like, well, Switzerland, is known for chocolate and they did a really great stamp.
Can't do that here. My kids will be eating the stamps.
Yeah, giving new meaning to my dog ate it.
Yeah.
Excuse.
So what would be a really good topic?
Well, one thing they need to do is...
But then they did a lousy job on those.
They need to take the advisory committee and they need to put somebody who's less than 30 years old on that board.
No.
Because they need to have an eye toward what topics are of interest and what are popular.
Well, hold on. Here.
Didn't they
Hold on.
do decently on the Harry Potter stamps?
Yeah, but then they didn't market them and they made them in a weird format that nobody wanted and nobody used them.
I got an email back regarding zombies on stamps.
Yep.
You got a reply.
I'm going to leave off the person's name, but having been a member of the committee for 12 years, I can tell you that they will not consider it to be a serious question. No kidding, really? Oh my goodness. And since there is 0% chance that anything in this realm would be considered for a stamp, they will simply refuse to deal with it seriously. Come on, guys.
And then you ask the question, well, why don't more people collect stamps?
The criticism they're giving the Academy Awards.
Lack of diversity.
This, I just have to see is, they're appointed, they're old people who work their way up. And it's like, great, if you are an old person, nothing wrong with it. I'm getting there and everything else. You can't be 95 years old, issue a stamp for Shirley Temple, and say, why aren't we getting younger collectors? Why aren't young people collecting stamps? We put Shirley Temple on, and it goes, like to the Elvis stamp. When they put out the first Elvis stamp, they had the whole thing about young Elvis, new Elvis. There was a buzz about it. I mean, they marketed it well. And then they came out with the second Elvis stamp, and it was okay looking. It's a nice looking stamp, but it had no pizzazz to it. I mean, if you asked 100 people on the street, name somebody who has pizzazz, you're going to get the name Elvis. So what are some of the topics that would get younger people involved today?
I accidentally came across the Doctor Who stamps. They're really good looking.
Well,
There's no excuse.
But what about the superheroes? I mean, that's like the really big thing right now, too. That's totally hot.
Marvel.
Look at what's popular in the movies. They have all sorts of different kinds of movies that come out. Which ones are popular? Which ones are blockbusters? What does well? Are younger people what things are trending? Is it fashion? Is it comic books? Is it sci-fi? Is it thrillers?
It's zombies.
Is it
other
zombies?
thing,
Walking Dead.
And
World War Z.
vampires?
well, the other thing is,
I mean,
even when they brought out the Harry Potter, they brought it out at the end of the series.
Yeah.
It's like, bring it out after book 4, not after book 7.5.
Yeah, but I mean, they have a minimum of 3 to 5 years lead time that they say that they need to decide on a subject and get it designed and
Pairs?
printed.
It takes 5
Yeah,
years to
really?
decide on pairs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really?
Oh, good point.
So, I mean, back in the day, look at how quickly they issued the Harding Memorial Stamp. It was less than a month after he was assassinated.
And it was a good-looking stamp. I just think that they have, they rely on the outside public and say, well, public, what do you want us to print? And nobody sends them anything. And so instead of having people who have sort of a pulse on what's going on, they go, we haven't put out a stamp commemorating a black female from
I couldn't resist.
Found this person who invented the cyclopedia. Ooh, let's put her on.
Nobody knows who she is, but we found her.
Yeah,
thanks to the internet, and we never would have found that person otherwise.
I mean, how many people are on stamps that you look at it and go, well, there's 2 ways you can look at it. You go, wow, now I know who this person is. Or you look at it and go, who the hell is that?
Who's Gompers?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I see him on a stamp all the time, but who is he?
Oh, I will say that Charlie Brown, though, when they put Charlie Brown on, that was a smart move. So that's 3 stamps.
It did well, and they came out with a Peanuts movie recently.
It was perfectly timed for the movie, for the season, and for the usage. It was a smart move. Do that again.
Yes,
and
please.
again, and again, and again.